Club at 22, the Rangers podcast, is supported by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below the waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. Go to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping with code Club at 22. Your balls will thank you. Hello everyone and welcome to Club Deck Corner here on Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. In a week where one era ends with a whimper, let's hope this one starts with a massive Dutch bang. I am your host Scott Carney and I'm joined by Ryan Hamers. Ryan, how are you?
How's it going? I'm hungry, mate. How are you?
Yes, I am. I'm getting there, mate. I'm getting there. I devoured myself in maybe a few two sherbets on Sunday, pre and after game, to be completely honest. So yesterday was a struggle. It was a struggle to say the least, mate. But no, back at work today, so feeling a wee bit better. So yeah, we are going to go through the Hibs game a wee bit, discuss all the big talking points that you'd expect us to speak about. We'll then talk about Gio, the start of his reign and what we expect from that. Also discuss his press conference, and we'll finish up with previewing the Sparta game. So yeah, just hello to our new subscribers as well, and hello twice, if you get what I mean, to our Club at 22 supporters and coffee buyers. I cannot thank everybody that has kindly signed up to become a Club at 22 supporter. It's pretty amazing. Things are already in motion to get the pod to the next level now, and yeah, for people that have even done both, they've bought us a coffee and they've subscribed and become a Club at 2 supporter as well. I really can't thank you enough. It's absolutely it's brilliant, really is. I'll tell you all about that at the end, how you can join it. Also, obviously, Club at 22 supported by Manscaped, the best in men's below the waist grooming. If you go to manscaped.com, use the code Club at 22, you'll get 20% off and free shipping. Your balls will certainly thank you. Ryan, would you agree with that? Your balls will thank you?
Yeah, your balls will definitely thank you. My balls are thanking me every single week when I take the time to attend to them, Scott. So yes, your balls will thank you.
Yes, they will. So we'll start with unfortunately, mate, we're going to need to start with quite a negative, and we're going to need to discuss the defeat to Hibs in the Cup. First half hat-trick from Boyle secures Hibs a place in the final. The performance gets worse. For my sins, mate, sat in my hungover state and watched the game back yesterday. It just got worse. I was just like, fuck's sake. I thought maybe the beer had tainted my view of it a little bit, but no, it certainly didn't. We were nowhere near it, man. Like, absolutely nowhere near it. The attitude was very, very poor. What Tav and the defence are doing in the first goal was truly baffling. McGregor should definitely do better for the second goal. However, Balogun's had a nightmare, and he did pretty much the entire game. Davis just bundles into the back of the Hibs player. I think it was Boyle that he bundled into the back of for the penalty, and that was probably out of frustration. And we've not even got to the point where we're just going to discuss the substitutes. Again, baffling. Ryan, you've not been on the reaction, you've not been on the pod since we get beat off Hibs. What are your, silly question, mate, what are your feelings on the game?
So disappointed in them. So disappointed, and the disappointment was then met with anger as well. Obviously, we've taken a few downs at Hampden over the years, and I think a few years ago we were kind of accepting it where the club were, and during the recovery, there was games we weren't competing. I remember specifically being at a game against Celtic. I think it was a semi-final, and we didn't have a shot on target the full game. We were just powder puff, but we weren't anywhere near the quality they had. They had Dembele and players like that. But I remember at half time, we never one shot on target, and I remember at half time Chris Commons walking off the pitch and Lee McCulloch putting his arm around him. And I thought, I'll never be as angry as this ever in Hampden. But oh no, that was surpassed on Sunday. I've never seen. I'm pretty sure that's the worst performance I've ever seen of a Rangers team, and following them in 27 years at Hampden. I've never seen anything like it in my life. That is And it's frightening that the new manager is sitting in that stands, and that is what they decide to put out. I've still not spoke to you, obviously. I don't know where you were sitting, but I was in the north stand right at the halfway line, and it was probably the best seat I've ever had in Hampden, if I'm being honest. And the amount of times we'd have thrown down at that touchline, and every player's hiding behind their man. Nobody's shown. Sorry, I'm a liar. Stephen Davis was the only person shown for it. And even when he's going to receive it, he's kicking out the parks. He's just having one. He had one on Sunday, Davis. But every man hiding, not wanting the ball, and every man in green wanted the ball and more. And I said I'd keep myself calm during this, but it's most disappointing.
I am sorry to have to bring up these emotions in you, Ryan. I genuinely am, because I don't particularly want to sit here and talk about it again as well. But you are right, mate. I can't remember as poor a performance like that, and probably in my lifetime, to be completely honest. It was just nothing what you would expect a Rangers team to be like. And you can't blame the fans. I mean, we turned out in our thousands. I was sitting in the south stand, mate, at the corner flag, not the Hibs end, obviously the other end. And again, probably one of the best seats I've ever had at Hampden. It was a really good seat. And after the first goal, you went, okay, we all expected that goal, because that's what Rangers do. We're well aware of what Rangers are doing this season. First time we get a wee bit of pressure on a defence from a set piece, it usually leads to a goal. And then the second was like, it was one of them moments where you were watching it, knowing what was about to happen before it happened, because as soon as you got slipped through, I was like, well, he's going to score here. And it was a goal, and then the penalty just summed up everything about that half, that first 40 minutes or so. It was an absolute disaster. It really was. Just before we continue, we have been joined by a late arrival, Mr. Alistair Pearson. Ali, how are you? Oh, we're not being joined by Ali, by the looks of it.
Maybe not. Nah, I don't think you can hear us.
No, I can't hear us. Never mind, bye, Ali. So
nice to see him.
Right, you can sit and watch the rest of the podcast, I suppose, but you can't actually hear us. So yeah, and then even in the second half, mate, I thought, well, okay, we get the goal back before half time. I thought to myself, okay, we might get a chance here. We might be able to spark into life. And then you come on to the substitutions, mate. And yes, Ryan Kent wasn't playing good. Yes, Joe Aribo particularly wasn't playing good, but I did, however, think he was the best player on the park for Rangers. We ended up with 3 defensive midfielders on the park, mate. I mean, what were they thinking?
I mean, I didn't have a drink. I was driving, obviously, on a Sunday, and I was as animated as I've been at a game for years. I was roaring, and even my dad's just looking at me as if, calm down. I'm going, like, look at these substitutions, Dad. What's going on? Like, it's hard because McCallum's put into a situation, and he's thrown in there at deep end, and I get that. But oh my goodness, I mean, we're 2 goals down, and we're taking off attacking midfielders and sitting with Kamara, Davis, and Jack on the pitch, who all do relatively the same job. The substitutions were frightening. I do want to agree with you on Aribo. I think Aribo's the only one who'll get pass marks from me. I think Kent was trying to do things as well. Wasn't coming off from him when you're 2 goals down. The Rangers fans get frustrated at the best of times, but I think he was trying to make things happen. The rest of them, their effort on the ball, off the ball, was deplorable, absolutely deplorable. I don't know how they can face their families at night and say they've put a shift in, because it was disgusting. It's been a fear of ours. We've been saying for weeks, on the pod, off the pod, walking away from the matches, that something's not right with this Rangers team. We're just not clicking. We're not. It's attitude. I've said it for weeks. I believe it's attitude, and this Rangers team have got a history of having a poor attitude, because that's why they've never won a cup. That's at 1 in 10. That's why they've never won a cup, because their attitude stinks. And we obviously got a snippet. I know you're going to move on to it. We obviously got a snippet of what exactly is going on in that dressing room, and it is not pretty. And good luck, Gio.
Yes, you lead me quite nicely onto that. Scott Arfield came out and spoke to RTV, and I thought spoke rather well, to be completely honest. He said he wasn't going to sugarcoat anything. He admitted that he knew what it was like to be a fan and for a player to stand there and try and pretend something that it wasn't. And he was quite honest with it and saying it's not good enough. That's it, really, kind of thing. New manager starts and we just kind of go. And the guy genuinely looked gutted. Not really much to add. I thought he held himself quite well. Obviously, the biggest talking point really to come from the game is Conor Goldson's post-match comments. Now, people have kind of had a go at me as well for the kind of comments I made on the post-match about it. And I can see both sides of the argument. I can. However, there's a place and a time, and read the room, Connor. Literally read the room. To come out and say, one, the lack of hunger thing, I don't want to be spending 30, 40 quid. I know nobody wants to be spending 30, 40 quid to go to Hampden, which nobody likes going to. Let's be completely honest. Nobody likes Hampden. And then for your vice captain, if you like, to stand there and say you've got lack of hunger. How's your lack of hunger, Con, when you're on more a week than I make in a year? I mean, you can't be standing there and tell me you've got a lack of hunger. You've won 1 trophy in 10 now. I mean, there should be no lack of hunger when you're playing for Glasgow Rangers, and you're happy to kind of openly admit that. I don't know if Conor Goldson's had a rush of blood to the head. I really don't know. I think the biggest sticking point for a lot of people, though, is we felt the game was over at half-time, or we believed that the game was over at half-time. Ryan, am I being too harsh here, or am I thinking, especially for a guy that looks like he's about to run out his contract, to be standing there and slating his own teammates, because that's pretty much what he's doing, and he just didn't add, he didn't help the situation. If anything, he made it worse.
I don't think I've ever seen anything so unprofessional from a Rangers player in a post or pre-match interview. I don't think I've ever seen anything so unprofessional for him to say, I don't know if I should be saying this, but I think there's a lack of hunger. Are you joking? Are you joking? There's a lack of hunger. We don't want to hear that. What it looks like, we've probably all worked it out. We don't want to hear that, and we don't want to hear it, especially when we're not even, some of us aren't even home yet, and he's coming out with that nonsense. You're still, that's where the anger comes from with the Rangers fans, and every single Rangers fan who has slated Conor Goldson for that is more than entitled to slate Conor Goldson, whether it's the full interview or the short interview. His comment as well that the game's over at half time. Well, just you tell McCallum you don't want to go out at half time for the second half then, and get Nathan Patterson, who is absolutely, he would play for nothing for Rangers. That boy is desperate to play for Rangers, and that's the kind of attitude you're getting from Goldson. It is. I'm lost for words. I really am. It really makes me angry, and I'm still angry. And I get people are saying that if you listen to the full interview, it puts a bit of it does put a bit of context. It does. But what he said is unprofessional and totally out of order and disrespectful to people like me and you, and people who are travelling from other countries to come and see Rangers. I gave up to, I only get my kids sob story. So here's the disclaimer. I only get my kids once a weekend. And rightly or wrongly, I chose to give up 2 hours at that time to go and see Rangers on Sunday. And when I hear something like that, proper pisses me off. I just want to read a quote today. Everybody will have seen it, but I think it's great. When you come to Rangers as a player, there's an expectation at that club. You don't lose games, and that goes throughout your life. So when a Rangers player comes out and says the game's done at half-time and you're down 3-1, it's not right. Our club is built on the ethos of no surrender and don't surrender. We're not going to surrender games at half-time when 3-1 down. If I was an experienced player in that dressing room like Alan McGregor or Stephen Davis, I'd be having a word with that young man, and who has maybe played at Shrewsbury and Brighton, and saying the game is never over. Richard Gough, that's a Rangers player, that's a leader, that's a captain. If you don't want to play anymore, Connor, there's the door.
You've literally took the next segment away from me, mate, and I could not agree with you more. The fact that a Rangers legend has felt not the need, but has came out and said something like this about Conor Goldson's statements is, time for Conor to really decide what he wants to do, because if he doesn't want to play, I would get rid of him as quickly as I possibly could, because I didn't agree with the comments. Look, these things might need to be said, yes, but you do not pour fire. You do not pour fuel onto the fire when it's quite clearly burning enough. You don't need to do any more, and Conor, in my opinion, just made it worse. Ali, I think you can hear us this time. How are you, mate? You've came in at the point where we are discussing Conor Goldson.
I think I've come on at the right time, to be honest. It's sorry, I had technical difficulty. I'm staying away tonight with work, and the Wi-Fi wasn't great, so I've hotspotted my phone. But
one thing you can't say is that this podcast is not professional. That's all I will say.
It's dedication for me, to be honest, to try and get it going. So I've come in at the right time. Conor Goldson, I'll have my say on him as well. I thought the worst bit of the interview he said was what Ryan says in terms of the game was done at half time. I'm sorry, you're 3-1 down in a cup. You only need 2 goals to get it back to 3 each. How's it done? That was the more alarming one, I thought, than we've lost the hunger. And for him to come out and to me, that's things kept in-house. You don't address that to the media, to everyone, to us who took a Monday off work, for Ryan for not seeing his kids for 2 hours, for everyone else travelling across to go and watch that, for him to say, we chucked it at half time because it was done. But that's unacceptable. And he's a vice captain of Rangers, Conor Goldson. He's not a silly wee boy that's come out and said that comment. And he's going to get it Thursday night, because he will play Thursday night, Conor Goldson, because Jack Simpson isn't in the squad. The only thing he could do is maybe Bassey and Balogun, but I don't know if Balogun's fit. But and Richard Gough, correct to come out and say that, but I think he's now written his own death warrant, Conor Goldson, and we all know he's going. And I think Gio in his press conference didn't say him, but he's basically said, if you don't want to play for this football club, you'll go. And I think he could go in January. And I did see a wee rumour today about on Villa pages saying Villa might come in for him. If they come in for him, you can take him. We'll need to replace him, but inexcusable. I'm sorry for Goldson. For a guy of his age, vice captain, can't be saying that at a team like Rangers.
Yeah. Do you know, Ali, sorry, Calmy. Do you know, I was actually expecting him, and I don't know if you agree, I was actually expecting him to come out on social media, like an Instagram post or something, a text Instagram post, and say, listen, it was a heat of the moment, I'm sorry, like, on reflection, I probably shouldn't have said those things. But he didn't come out and say anything, which makes me, it's made me angrier that he's not come out and corrected it, because it's indefensible. You cannot, how can you say that the game's over at 3-1 at half time? It's unbelievable, it really is. And I need to shut up about it, actually. I'm getting so angry.
I think when he's in the position that he is in, he's already not flavour of the month with a lot of Rangers fans because of this contract situation. So I don't know what he was trying to achieve. I would love to be able to say that it's a bit naive and it is the heat of the moment, but Conor's good with the press, and he's done this enough with the press to be able to know what you can and you cannot say. And that one is just, as far as I'm concerned, he's well and truly said, I don't want to be here. I'm not really interested in this. And whether he's fell out with a few players or whatever, I've got no idea. But it was not a good one, in my opinion. It'll be interesting to see the response if he plays. He probably will play on Thursday night due to the squad limitations. Anyway, we'll leave the negativity there for tonight, gentlemen, and we will move on to the reign of GVB as manager. So he was revealed on officially, if you like, yesterday, about 3:30. There was a press conference on Rangers TV. It was on YouTube. I sat and watched that in my sad hungover state, but it did actually cheer me up watching him. I thought he spoke very, very well. The club also announced the backroom staff of Roy Mackay, Yari Boschart and Arno Phillips. Boschart is brilliant. What a name. And it was confirmed at a press conference by Ross Wilson that there will be one more appointment, but they will be European and not Scottish or British. So the main things to take it from the presser, Gio's going to give everyone a clear slate. He will speak to the players so he can look at them in the eye to address the improvements he feels required. He likes working with talents, especially when they are hungry and willing to learn. He did also say the hunger has to come within, and if they don't have that, they could find themselves with a very tough manager. Ali, I'll come to you, mate. What did you make of the pressure of Van Bronckhorst? How did you feel he managed it? What was the main things you took from it?
I thought he spoke very well, Van Bronckhorst. Looked like a Rangers manager in the suit. He looked good in the suit. And he was more stern than I thought. I didn't know what I was thinking of Van Bronckhorst in terms of Gerrard's got that aura, that kind of don't mess with me. I didn't know what to think, what Van Bronckhorst would bring, but when he was asked about the Conor Goldson question, and he didn't really directly answer it, but he went round about it. And like you said there, Carney, he said they'll get a tough manager. So I think he likes discipline, which is good because I think some of these players need it at the moment. He alluded to in terms of playing youth players as well. If you're good enough, you'll play in this Rangers team. So that will give a few of them a spark in terms of Patterson, who's maybe a lot of people are saying we should play Patterson. So yeah, I was excited. That was the only positive on Monday that I took off of work after Sunday. The same, lying in a hungover state, was I could watch the full press conference at 3:30. And I thought he came across really well, Van Bronckhorst. And I'm just looking forward to Thursday night to see if I can see slight changes, because he did say when he was sitting up in the dugout at Hampden, he saw things he would change. So I'm intrigued, especially when we sit Carney up the club deck, you get that full view over the park. I know he's only going to be in there 2 days training, Tuesday, tomorrow, and then Thursday's a game. Will we see wee slight changes by Thursday night? I'm not sure, but we might see small things, and that's what I'm more looking forward to, just to see his stamp in that team.
Yeah, I think obviously from all reports anyway, he's quite fond of the 4-3-3. So there's also been discussions about 4-2-3-1 potentially as well. Both have been played under Gerrard, these formations. So I'm not sure if we're going to see a drastic change as such, where you're like, oh, it's unrecognisable. I think he's now just going to fine tune every wee bit to make sure it fits his tone, if that makes sense. He'll just fine tune it to each, like, right, this is now my team. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I'm interested to see what the lineup's going to be. I really am. I want to see if he is going to do what he can do. Obviously, there's limitations with the squad that's been selected for the Europa League, but I'm interested to see what happens. Ryan, what was your main takes from it? And also, I liked the part where he was asked about the old firm, and he listed off all the main competitions that he had played in, including the El Clasico. And I'm like, oh, he's been around the block, Van Bronckhorst. He has been at the top level, which was almost like a wee, remember who I am, remember I have done this, I know what this is about.
Yeah, he commands respect. Van Bronckhorst's done it. He's proved to him walking in that change room. I know what Ali's saying in terms of Gerrard's got an aura about him. He's had a successful career, won the Champions League, and he has got an aura about him. But Van Bronckhorst is the proof that if you do the business here, you can go to Premier League and beyond. You can hit the top if you have got the ability and you have the hunger, which apparently some players don't have. Then you can get to the top, and he is proof of that. He's been everywhere. He's lifted them all, hasn't he? I was impressed with him. I was impressed the way he spoke. I was actually, I couldn't remember. It was funny. I remember Van Bronckhorst playing with us, but I was young, so I couldn't remember what he actually sounded like when he spoke. So I thought he spoke well, and yeah, he was getting kind of poked in terms of the Goldson thing about players not on hunger and would you change it. I thought he answered the questions quite well. What I was happy about was, I thought Ross Wilson, again, I know I'm turning into a bit of a fanboy, but I thought he was good in the press conference as well. And he said something that the best thing I thought in the press conference was saying, if players do move on, then the money will be available to to jail, the money will be put straight back into the squad. I know that a lot of moonhowlers will be disappointed in the comments that it doesn't look as if admin 24 is coming up. But yeah, it looks as if he's going to get money and he's going to get investment into the team, which he will definitely need, because if he's seen what I've seen on Sunday, especially when I think it was Portis was on the ground feigning an injury and the play had stopped, not one Rangers player did anything in terms of geeing each other up or going over to each other and telling each other what to do. They all just stood with their hands on their hips, and that must have shocked Van Bronckhorst on Sunday.
Yeah, I can't really disagree with that, because he received a rather good welcome from the Rangers fans when he was at Hampden. The display by the Union Bears again, I thought was pretty tremendous. I thought it was great. Kudos for them for that. It was great, and the place was rocking. And yeah, to see the players who are representing Rangers do that, it must have put a few warning signs into them where, okay, there's definitely work to be done. And I mentioned as well after the game that I didn't realise we needed a gaffer to steady this ship, but my goodness, we do, especially with the performance levels and the comments that have come out afterwards. So, Ali, I think it was also quite impressive for Ross Wilson the way he handles the media. He's not really scared to sit and just be quite honest, be quite open and honest about stuff. And I suppose you can say the same about Van Bronckhorst. He was going to be asked the difficult questions. He would have been well prepped that he was going to get asked these questions. Look, they're going to ask you about Conor's comments. I think he handled it quite well, and I'm glad about that, because he's going to get asked stupid questions over and over again by mainstream media in Scotland. So it was good to see how he performed.
Yeah, Ross Wilson. We've seen quite a bit of Ross Wilson over the last week in terms of previously we've not heard much of him, wee snippets in our TV, but comes across well. Ross Wilson, like I say, he's about our age, if not older, but comes across a bit quite bullish. Nobody's going to piss him about. In the interview, somebody did say something about he was on about the Neil McCann thing in terms of and he put that to bed straight away, which, I mean, I would like Neil McCann back. I like Neil McCann, but he put that to bed in terms of saying that we're going for a European, and he was quite bullish. But when Bronckhorst, he's not stupid. When Bronckhorst, he's been round the block. He's been at Arsenal. He's been at I mean, you've just rhymed off where he's been. Barcelona, 100-odd caps for Holland. He knows how to deal with the press. The press in other places will be as stupid as they are in Scotland, to be honest, or maybe not as much, but
maybe.
Yeah, but
it's a bold statement, Ali.
That is a bold statement, but he's a clever guy. Van Bronckhorst, his English is very good as well, which always is in Dutch. The Dutch are better at speaking English than we are, to be honest. So I was confident watching Van Bronckhorst in that presser there. And I've heard a few folks say, and it could be true, maybe Sunday, as bad as it was for us all being there, was a blessing in disguise, because see if we'd limped through that into the final as we've been limping through all season, it would have papered over the cracks again. He's seen Rangers at their very worst on Sunday. And that game on Sunday has been happening all season. We've said it a lot of times. It may be a blessing in disguise because he's seen it with his own eyes unravel, and you might go, oof, I need to do more changes than I probably would have done if they'd limped through the game, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's probably quite a good point, mate. I know it's... I was just speaking to Ryan even just before we came on and recorded that everybody's still a bit angry, still a bit frustrated at the way Sunday happened, and I think I'm most annoyed because I didn't see it coming. Well, that sounds stupid considering what I've watched all season, but I just thought, right, it's the start of something new. You've all got a chance now. Hibs haven't played football in a month, so I just expected there to be more. I did. I expected there to be more. I just feel like we're jumping between conversations here, but I did see somebody else. I can't remember what it was on. It might have been on another podcast. I can't remember. It was definitely on another Rangers podcast. Can't remember what one. They did say that the changes that were made to the team didn't really make any sense in terms of form, and they are right. We made 5 changes, I believe it was, from the last game. obviously Sakala, Bassey in particular, the kind of the main ones, and we, for whatever reason, decided to try and go with people that could maybe be trusted, and it failed dramatically, absolutely failed dramatically, and it was it's time to really to put that one to bed, and we will move on. In terms of as well, Ryan, I'll come back to you. What do you expect from Van Bronckhorst now? Do you think he will go in now and kind of lead a wee bit of a riot act and not completely change, but do you expect drastic changes to the starting 11? I know we all want it as fans, but do you think he will do that? Sorry.
I'd like to see drastic changes. I don't think there will be. I think any good manager comes in and has a conversation with every player, whether they're in the team or out the team, and just has his say on them and just gets them to be honest and gives them. I think everyone's given a chance with a new manager. Any good manager does that. I don't think he'll go in there and say, "You're done here, Conor," if that's what we're kind of alluding to there. I think he'll have an honest conversation with them. Whether Goldson says to him, "I'm looking to move on," it's the wheels on motion based. I'm just waiting for January to go. If that's probably the best thing he could do is be honest with him, because we all know that's what he's looking to do. We knew that before Sunday. But I think he'll have an honest conversation with him. I don't see drastic changes. I do see Nathan Patterson getting his chance though, because so he should. I mean, he plays well for us. Tavia's not on the best form just now, whether it's on Thursday or maybe at the weekend, but I do think we'll see Nathan Patterson soon. The man up top, I back him to the hill, I really do, and I've always defended him on the comments, and I'm getting slaughtered for it. I thought he was a disgrace on Sunday.
Oh, absolutely.
I thought his effort was an absolute disgrace. Very disappointed in him. He is also one who's given off the body language of someone who does not want to be there. So probably an insight into what my lineup will be. I think you might see Sakala getting more game time than Morelos soon, but big changes in a short term I don't see. I think Van Bronckhorst will be clever with this, and he'll see if he can get people to turn around and get their hunger back, which he shouldn't need to do.
No, I agree. I do agree. I think Morelos, I mean, I'm the same, mate. I'm a Morelos fanboy. You can picture him behind me, do you know what I mean? And I was really let down by him on Sunday. Like, really, really let down. And Goldson's comments might even be addressed to players like Morelos, that you're just not doing what you have to be doing, and it's quite clear that you don't have the hunger. And I mean, we're going to have to wait and see. I do expect a bit of a bounce, to be honest. I expect the players to pull their socks up and prove, the players that want to prove that they want to be here. And we all know the kind of players that will do that. I think there's big opportunities for players. Lundstrom's one for me that I think there's a massive opportunity for him here. He could proper impress Van Bronckhorst, and Van Bronckhorst will like his style. Van Bronckhorst will like what he's all about as a kind of holding midfielder. Ali, are you expecting wholesale changes to the squad, or do you expect, as we were mentioning, just the kind of fine tuning, maybe a few fresh faces in?
I don't think he's going to rip it completely up. I don't think he can rip it completely up. I think there will be 3 changes, possibly 3 to 4 changes in that Rangers team, which is quite a bit when you think about a team. There's only 11 guys in a park, so I think he will. I mean, that team that started against Hibs will not be the team against Sparta Prague on Thursday. So, yeah, I think he'll make a few changes. And it'll be interesting to see what team we all go for. And I bet you we don't get it right for Thursday. This is probably the hardest one to get so far this season. But there's a couple of conversations. One is the goalkeeper. I know Ryan's having a go at Morelos up top, and rightly so. I thought he was an embarrassment, and he's been pretty crap all season. The goalkeeper is another discussion as well for Thursday night, because he's looked awful this season. And I'm not slagging him because he's been outstanding, one of the greatest goalkeepers we've had at our club, but that's a discussion as well at the moment going forward.
It is, mate. It definitely is. I think it's time to for a decision to be made, whether McLaughlin gets the run, whether he sticks with McGregor, I'm not particularly sure, but I don't know what the kind of issues are. But I don't know if there's just a lack of cohesion in the squad and it's causing players' form to dip or whatever. But McGregor did not cover himself in glory for the first and the second goal. Not much you can do about the penalty, but the first and the second goal, the second one in particular, that's saves that you expect Alan McGregor to make, to be completely honest. So it's going to be interesting to see what he decides to do with that. I have in my few notes that I do for that podcast, I have noted, does anybody want to be brave enough to predict a team? Which leads us on to the Rangers v Sparta Prague game. Crucial game for Rangers against Sparta Prague on Thursday night. A 2-0 win secures Europa League football even after Christmas for Rangers. As if it wasn't a big enough game, we obviously have got a bit of a heated history with Sparta for the reason that we all know about. So Ali, I'll come back to you. What are you expecting on Thursday? Obviously Giovanni's first time in the dugout. Ibrox will be full to see that. Let's just hope that we get a reaction.
You don't know what you're going to get with this Rangers team. Rangers could go out Thursday night and beat Sparta Prague 3-0 and I wouldn't be shocked, because you just don't know what you're going to get with them.
Not concede?
Oh, God, I'm not saying that again. But, no, I don't know what I expect. I mean, I did say after the last game in Europa League we drew 1 each, I said it's set up nicely this tie now. A one-off show-off at Ibrox to win. If we win by 2 goals to go into the knockout stages. So before all with Gerrard and semi-final from Bronckhorst. So regardless of all that's happened there, it's set up. I think Ibrox will be bouncing Thursday, and you'd like to think these players are going to get a bounce. I mean, there's always the new manager bounce I described that we thought we were all going to get on Sunday, which didn't happen. But he's in a dugout from Bronckhorst, which will give us even more motivation going into it, I'd like to think. So I don't like saying this, but I'm confident, and I don't know where I get that from after being at Hampden on Sunday. But I'm not going to make any wild statements. But Rangers have bounced back before in terms of bad results, and I just hope they will this time, and I think they will. Whether they get enough to do the in terms of how many goals to go through, I expect Rangers to win. I really do. I think everything's there for them. What happened against the previous game against them, I didn't think they were overly brilliant, to be honest. So, yeah, I just hope they're as buzzing as I am to go in Thursday, and I expect a result for Rangers on Thursday. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, this team, the squad has shown resilience before. Like they have it within them to do it. I think the hunger word that's ringing around every Rangers fan's ears right now is the worrying bit, I suppose. But that's now down to the new management team to identify who wants it and who doesn't, I suppose. So it's now up to them. I'm the same, mate. I'm not feeling confident, but I am looking forward to going to Ibrox, and I think the place will be rocking. It will be good to see Gio, and it'll be good to see what kind of team that we're going to put out to play Sparta. Ryan, your thoughts ahead of the game?
I think the carrot for the players is you win 2-0, you're through. I mean, what more incentive do you need? If you win 2-0, you're through to the next stage. You need to beat Sparta. They are not a good team or a great team. They are pretty average, I thought. I agree with Ali. When we played them away from home, I felt we didn't do ourselves justice there. Playing away from home, we didn't play well at all that night, and they were poor. So we have nothing to fear apart from ourselves again. I'm usually the optimistic one, and I'm trying to pull us out of this. And I think the crowd will be. I don't think it'll be bouncing at first. I think if we score first, I think we'll be bouncing. But I think there'll be a kind of expectancy from the crowd on Thursday. I think there'll be a kind of attitude from the fans of, no, you owe us a performance here. We've backed yous at Malmo, at Hampden, and made an absolute fool of ourselves. You give us a performance and you'll see what you get out of us. And I do think you see that at Ibrox sometimes, and the atmosphere's been that all season. It's been quite flat at times. and it's because of the performances. They owe us big time, and I think if we get the first goal, the place will be rocking. But yeah, I'm hoping that is the case. I hope we get the first goal and we don't do our usual corner kick in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm hoping Gio just goes, let's try something new today, shall we, ladies and shall we, gentlemen? Let's not concede a goal in the first 20 minutes or from the first set piece that they have. Let's maybe try that and see how the rest of the game goes. Yeah, the players do owe us a performance. They owe us a reaction. They owe us everything that they've got really on Thursday. To be honest, it's time to start again. Yes, under Van Bronckhorst, it's time to because we will quickly forgive and forget if everything goes right. Let's be honest. So, Ali, predict us starting 11.
She's like,
oh, I know, but she's like,
strap yourselves in. No,
waiting.
McLaughlin in goal. I think he'll change the keeper. I'd like Patterson to start, but I don't think he will. I think he'll stick with Tav. Goldson will play. There you go. There's a statement from me. Goldson will play. Balogun, if he's fit, I know he kind of went off a bit injured. Big Bassey, for me, deserves to come back in because he's been hard done when he's been pulled out of the team. My 3 in the middle of the park, Kamara, Lundstrom, I think will come back in, and Aribo. And my top 3 is going to be Ryan Kent, the man for Zambia, Sakala through the middle, and Hadji. That's my team.
Yeah, Ryan?
it is the exact same team apart from the goalkeeper. I think McGregor will play. I think McGregor has got credit in the bank. I think he is being let down by a poor defence and it's making him shaky. It's not like McGregor to be letting in shots like that. I am giving him the benefit of the doubt at the moment, and I think he'll play. And I think, yes, Sakala as well. I think Sakala will be in and Hadji will be in as well to help with the changes. And Bassey. That's 4 changes, right? Lundstrom.
Aye.
Hadji. Aye, Lundstrom, Hadji, Sakala. Yeah.
Yep.
Bassey.
Yep. That's the same as me, yep.
I'll go. I think McLaughlin will start as well. I think Tav will play. I think. Fuck it, man. I think Balogun and Bassey and Barisic will be the other back 3. I think Goldson deserves it, to be completely honest. I'm not over that, and I probably won't go over it in case you haven't realised. I probably won't go over it. But I would pick the same front 6 as you have picked there. Lundstrom, Aribo, Kamara, Kent, Sakala, and Hadji. That's what I would go with. It'll be interesting to see. Look, we're going to be miles wrong. Guaranteed of that. Goldson probably will play, but if I was in charge, I certainly would not be playing him.
It's interesting we've all picked the same front. I mean, we just before we said that, there we're going, it's interesting what teams we're going to pick, and we've all picked the exact front 6, all 3 of us.
Yeah, but I get Kamara didn't cover himself in glory on Sunday. I felt like he hid, and I don't really like that when players start to do that, but I felt like he tried to hide. He was like, I'm not really, I wasn't really digging it. Rebo is undroppable right now, in my opinion. Ken should always be undroppable because even though sometimes he's frustrating, and he is frustrating, he just doesn't give up. He never, ever gives up. He always wants a ball. He always try. And it is really frustrating when you're chasing a game and you can't beat one man. But a game like Thursday night that you have to win, I think Aribo and Kent are sure starters. And for Morelos, he's absolute shambles of a performance on Sunday. He doesn't deserve to start that game. There's absolutely no need. What I will say as well is Hadji was warming up in front of me before the substitution started on Sunday, and the look of disbelief when he was not called to go on first was like, you could see the actual frustration in his face, and I was like, that's somebody that wants to play football. Somebody wants to play for this team. So yeah, again, that's going down that road of situations we're all about. I'll never know. I don't think any of us will ever know. So we'll finish up with score predictions. Ali, what do you think the score's going to be?
2-0 Rangers, and I think Hadji will get the first goal.
Ryan?
It's a new era. Gerrard's first goal concede thing is behind us now, and we will win 2-0. Ryan Kent, first goal scorer, and we're going through.
I'm going to go with 2-0 as well, because that's what we need. So 2-0, please. Thank you very much. No fucking about, just 2-0. And I'll go for Sakala to score first. The man for Zambia. Get Ibrox rocking with that song. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to going. I'm looking forward to seeing what this new era brings us. And hopefully we do get a reaction. So before I say all my spiel, Ryan, thank you very much, mate. And yeah, let's Gio.
Yes, let's Gio, boys. Just want to get that game on Sunday behind us and get a victory under our belts. It's been a tough couple of days for us, but sorry if I was a bit negative there, but that is just the way I see it. I'm very frustrated, as we all are, with the performance and some of the comments, so I hope everybody appreciated it. We're just being honest on this pod.
We always will be, mate. We always will. We'll call it out when we have to, and they deserved to have it kind of stuck into them, let's be honest. Ali, thank you very much for your dedication, mate. I don't even know where you are in the world.
I'm in Carlisle, if you must know. I was in the Lake District today, so got my dinner booked for 8 o'clock, so I'm way down for that. But no, same as Ryan, it's been disappointing, but the good thing with football is there's always a game next to put it right, and we've got a game on Thursday straight away, so I'm looking forward to being back at Ibrox, be able to see Giovanni from Bronckhorst in the dugout, and let's Gio.
Yeah. So yeah, on to Thursday now to see Gio take the reins officially, and it'll be his first time in the dugout. As I say, it'll be good to see what happens. So as I say, you can now join the channel and become a Club at 22 supporter for only 99p. The join button will be under this video. Again, thank you to everybody that has chose to do this. As I say, there is things in motion now to bring you the kind of next step. It is very close to being announced. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And also, thank you to everybody that's bought us a coffee. If you don't want to subscribe, there is a buy us a coffee link where you can just make a donation to the podcast. I generally can't thank you enough. Disclaimer, you still have to. Nothing's going to change. It's all the same. It's just if you would like to continue to support this podcast, it would really mean the world to us. As always, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, like, share, comment, anywhere that you can. It really does help support us and get us out to as many bears as possible. I think that's it. Oh, Manscaped, yeah. Shave your balls with Manscaped. I don't know how many times I need to say that. So thank you for listening to us. We will be back on Thursday with a post-match after the game. And yeah, let's Gio. We are Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. Cheers, folks.